Hey there, SNDL traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Today is Monday, March 18th. Hope you had a great weekend and happy Monday. In this video, we're going to dive into SNDL's upcoming Q4 and full year 2023 earnings. We'll take a look at the estimates. We'll do a prep video. Essentially, if you're not familiar with these new videos, we basically just go over the analyst estimates. I give you the consensus and we do an average, and then I give you the numbers, and then you can take those into earnings day. But going to be an interesting report, and we'll take a look at the chart here as well toward the end, and I'll give my thoughts and opinions. But stock was up at the close over 6% today from the low of yesterday, or Friday, I guess it would be. It was up about, I think, 16%. So overall, a decent day after Kamala Harris came out with some comments on Friday, late Friday, saying that the DEA should work to reschedule MJ as quickly as possible. So we'll go over all of that and more. As always, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future earnings prep videos or when I go live. Also, you can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be hanging out there a lot lately. I've been hanging out there a lot lately and will continue to do so in the future, as that is my new platform of choice going forward. And I really do appreciate all the follows and love each and every one of you who supported me along the way. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, and you should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say. In full disclosure, I do own SNDL stock in my portfolio. So SNDL to announce year-end and fourth quarter 2023 financial results on March 21st, 2024, and that's going to be before the market opens on Thursday. And then following the release of its year-end and fourth quarter results, SNDL will host a conference call and webcast at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So I'll do my best to join that. It's been a little hectic here with the welcoming of our daughter. So life's definitely been pretty all over the place lately. So I'll do my best, but we'll keep everybody posted on that. There will be a replay as well. You'll be able to access it at that following link, which you can view directly on the investor relations website for SNDL. But we'll dive into the numbers here, and then we'll take a look at the chart. Like I said, we did close up just over 6% today at the close, but from the low of Friday, we were up over 15%, I believe. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But in terms of analyst estimates, so again, if you're not familiar with these new videos, essentially we go over all of the analyst estimates, and then we get a consensus, and then you can take those numbers, and then you'll see if they beat or miss, and that's likely going to dictate the direction that the stock moves on earnings day, right? So let me know in the comment section below what you think. Do you think they're going to beat estimates, or do you think they're going to miss? And I'll give you the numbers now. So forecast is 263.5 million Canadian on investing.com, and they're forecasting positive 0.01 for earnings per share, or EPS. If we take a look at TradingView, this is in US dollars, so 187.41 million, and the EPS is forecasted at positive 0.008. So I went ahead and did that conversion as well, just on xe.com, and then I went to Moomoo platform. They're forecasting slightly lower at 248.4 million Canadian, and then EPS was negative 0.16. So huge discrepancy there. Like they're really expecting, it was negative 0.08 last quarter, so they're basically expecting double in the negative of what it was. So expecting a loss there. So we'll see. Right now, like I said, I'm not going to put too much weight behind that EPS estimate because it's only one analyst. And also it's a very big, it's a far cry away from what the other ones are expecting at positive 0.01. So we'll see. We'll take that with a grain of salt, but we'll see what actually happens. But I went ahead and added all the revenue up. And if you divide them by 3, they're forecasting the consensus on Wall Street is 255.1. You could round that up to 1.8 million, or you can just say 255.176 million. So we'll see if they come in line with that, or if they beat. Like I said, let me know in the comment section below. Do you think they're going to beat estimates or miss? And we'll take a look at the chart here. So overall, great day today. We could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, which I mentioned in my video yesterday. I did a Tilray and SNDL video, a very similar chart setup. Obviously, they're both Canadian companies. And the charts are going to be very samesies, but not all charts are the same. You could say that a lot of people were saying that in the comments. Well, they're in the same sector. Of course, the charts are going to be similar, but that's not really the case. If you look at OGI hasn't even confirmed a monthly higher low yet and a higher high, so it's not in a monthly uptrend, and the move all came off of the low, whereas Tilray and SNDL are already working on monthly higher lows. If we just zoom out to the monthly time frame here, you can see here we're working on this monthly higher low, whereas if you bring up a chart like OGI, it hasn't even formed a higher low yet. So very different chart setups. And then some names in the US are in monthly uptrends. Nova MJ is in a monthly uptrend as well. And again, if you go over to the community tab and then just scroll down, I posted about a month ago current MJ monthly uptrends. We had Cureleaf, AYR, Green Thumb, Trueleaf, MSOS, IIPR, Verano, Terrasen, C21, Grown Rogue, and Nova MJ. So we'll see. I think High Tide and SNDL have a very good chance of being the next in Canada to confirm monthly uptrends based on the lack of move, the small, lack of resistance, but it wouldn't need as big of a move to confirm the monthly uptrend, right? From current levels on SNDL, basically we would need to go another 56% to break key resistance there at 236. That would confirm the monthly uptrend. Whereas a name like Tilray, for example, and I mentioned this in yesterday's video, so I won't go too much into it, but it would need to go another, essentially over 80% from here, right? So a lot more work to do for that in that regard. And then names like CGC and ACB were dropping to monthly lower lows. But overall, a great day today after those comments from Kamala Harris saying DEA should reschedule as quickly as possible. Lots of names up double digits. CGC up over 20% at the close. And the reason why they're up so much is because they were beaten down so much, right? They're dropping to monthly lower lows, so they're just acting as a bit of a laggard. And the ones that get crushed end up bouncing the most, and all of these names are listed on U.S. major exchanges. So a lot of the dollars that were those splashy whales were playing in the Canadian names because of the amount of volume, right? Because of the access to U.S. major exchanges. But back to SNDL here, it's looking good. We're starting the monthly bounce, so we're breaking the high of last month at 149. The high this month is 152, so monthly bounce underway. We have resistance at 171, and then key resistance there at 236. If we break 236, then it's monthly uptrend confirmed, and I would say over the next couple of months, we're more than likely heading to EMA 26, which would bring us to around $3.30 USD on the NASDAQ. And there's some rumors floating around that we could potentially see rescheduling by mid-April, so April 15th. And if you go to my YouTube channel, what does that remind you of? I just posted a video, April 16th, save the date, federal budget for the Canadian government will be coming out, and there's talks of them switching to a % excise tax rather than a flat tax. So this would be huge. And then in this video, Tilray discusses European expansion and Canadian excise tax. He said that if they switch to a percentage, that could add $70 to $80 million to the bottom line for Tilray. And if they make $300 million in Canada, they pay about $150 million in excise tax, right? So Organigram said they paid almost a third of the revenue went to excise taxes. So again, not a coincidence that we could potentially imagine if we get rescheduling to Schedule 3 approved by the DEA on April 15th or somewhere around there. And then we also get the Canadian companies switch to a percentage tax, which again, I really do believe that the market is 1000% rigged. And it's not a coincidence that, it just so happens that the US is working on major reform and tax cuts of 280E removal. If it gets rescheduled to Schedule 3, after that 60-day comment period and whatnot, probably to the end of 2024 or beginning of 2025, it'd actually get enacted and rescheduled, and then 280E goes away. And again, not a coincidence that these market makers know what they're doing, right? These governments are basically all trying to slow the industry down as long as they can. But now that they see that the U.S. is starting to embrace reform, like I said, it's not a coincidence that we're seeing this, because it's all about creating a level playing field. And a lot of these US names, or these Canadian names, have big US investors, right? Think of Canopy and Constellation Brands, Altria and Kronos, British American Tobacco, and Organigram, right? So again, in my opinion, it's all planned, right? It's definitely not a coincidence, but it's all about 236 resistance there. Like I said, a lot of names are starting to trend back to their EMA 26 on the monthly time frame. Look at Green Thumb, it's well above it, and we could be gearing up for an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, which would be the first in history. And like I said, it's above its monthly EMA 26. So if SNDL were to follow suit and the whole sector moves together, not down to the day, the second, the minute, but overall, if you zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out, look at the monthly time frame, look at the yearly time frame, and all of these charts should start to trend back in the similar direction, right? We should be entering a multi-year bull market, in my opinion, after ending one of the worst bear markets in history. And I would argue the worst one. And it's been over 3 years, so it's been a brutal slide. But like I said, I think at this point, if we look from February 2021 highs on SNDL to the low there, we were down over 96, almost 97%. Whoops. And then, like I said, if we were to trend back to EMA 26, just like GTBIF has done, it's actually above it, then we'd be sitting around that $3.30. Actually, that's where I think we should be right now, somewhere around that $3 mark. I think it's just a lot of the Canadian names and the fundamentals aren't really catching up as of right now, right? But I think they're going to explode in a big way over the next few months, I think we could end up there, somewhere around that $3 mark. And then if we take a look at the weekly time frame, something I wanted to highlight here as well is we're gearing up for another weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. So this is looking really good. It's hard to find anything wrong with this chart at the moment, and we're actually confirming the weekly uptrend here with the low, high, higher low, and higher high, which means zoom out to the monthly, look for the monthly bounce. That's exactly what's happening. So key resistance to be watching 171, and then 236 is the main one there, because if we break that, monthly uptrend confirmed, and we join that list of monthly uptrends that I mentioned earlier, this one right here. So as of right now, everything's looking good. And then in terms of the daily time frame, like I said, from the low of Friday to the high of the day today, we were up over 16%. So this is great to see. And we could still see that EMA 12 and 26 bull cross follow through here on the daily time frame as well. But on the weekly time frame, we're back above the 10-week moving average. So 141, want to see us close above that. And then obviously I give you the resistance levels, but the support levels going to be down there at 131. Lots of support there and double bottom at 131. So we'll be watching that level. But as of right now, I think it's a very good chance that the bottom is in. Let me know in the comments if you believe that the bottom is in. But we're seeing a weekly and MACD and stochastic bull cross as well. So this is looking really good. If we can just close above that 10-week moving average there at 141 to end the week, it's pretty much all systems go at this point. And then in terms of the weekly moving averages, we're bumping our head though right at the 50 weekly. So it's at 154, and today we hit 152. So we're pulling back right at that 50 weekly moving average. And again, if we just do what other names in the space are doing, look at GTBIF, right? Green Thumb, getting very close to its 200 weekly moving average. If you take a look at Cureleaf, got pretty close to its 200 weekly moving average. TrueLeaf got fairly close to it, right? So a couple dollars away, essentially, is the average. And again, if SNDL were to get back to its 200 weekly, that'd put us around $4.54. But we have the 100 there at 209 as well. So like I said, I think $3 is probably baked in. I'm close to as confident as possible, close to 100% confident that we're going to see SNDL trading around that $3 mark over the next couple of months. And I still think that the most likely scenario is we get Schedule 3 recommendation. And I think the most likely time frame is sometime between now and the end of April. And then, like I said, if that coincides nicely with the percentage tax for excise tax here in Canada, then what a string of events, right? That it's hard to really predict where these prices would go if we get a few catalysts strung together, right? If we get a few of those happen, major catalysts happen simultaneously, these stocks could easily erupt 200, 300%, right? Which would put us somewhere around that $3-4 area on SNDL. But we also topped out right at the 200-day moving average today. That's at 153. So you had the 50 weekly at 154 and the 200-day moving average at 153, and we hit 152 today. So again, not a coincidence. That's a major resistance level. But if we can get over that, if we can get a daily candle close this week over 153, then like I said, we'll easily be heading up to that 171 area resistance. And then after that, we have a lack of resistance until up at monthly resistance at 236. So it's looking really good. I think they have a good chance at beating earnings this report. Like I said, they missed the last three revenue estimates in a row, so there's a good chance that they start to get back into the beat column. But like I said, they're expecting a pretty big jump up from 251 estimated the prior quarter to 263. So it's looking good. Then they got 150. I don't know what the hell they're talking about there for the next quarter, but sometimes these numbers are skewed. I don't always trust investing.com, and especially when you're looking far out, you only want to trust these numbers whenever it's getting very close, like within a couple of weeks. But that's why I like to look at TradingView, and I like to look at Moomoo platform as well. But just as a reminder, we're expecting 255.176 million in terms of revenue and Wall Street consensus. Going to end it there, though. It's Rod with Powell Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and it was a great day. Let's see if we can continue the green into the end of the week. All right, see you on the next video.